The man was originally just a perverted war photographer, but at a gathering of the powerful elite, he nearly lost his life. However, after being kissed by a girl, he gained the ability to detonate whatever he photographed. Influenced by his father, Saiga developed an interest in cameras from childhood, and thus chose to become a war photographer upon reaching adulthood. His fanatical demeanor earned him the nickname pervert among soldiers. Yet, due to Japan's economic situation, Saiga began photographing politicians for tabloids to make a living. During his investigation, he discovered the bodies of several security guards and 2 prominent politicians. The killer was a man who appeared to be made of rubber. Investigating alongside him was policewoman Ginza, who was deeply in love with Saiga and attempted to seduce him, but failed. However, when Saiga exposed the secret club's evening party during his investigation, his life was endangered. Yet, after being kissed by a girl, he not only survived, but also gained divine powers. And this all started with that girl. Her name was Kagura, the heiress to Japan's wealthiest family, who had never even eaten a single lunch. At night, she was forced to serve as an angel at mysterious gatherings, kissing various greasy dignitaries. However, by the time she woke up the next morning, she had completely lost all memory of the previous night. That day, Kagura's mother Shinsen woke her up for school as usual, and fearing being late, Kagura ran out without even eating breakfast. Shinsen's most loyal subordinate Suitengu had already been waiting outside for a long time. After seeing Kagura off, Shinsen took Suitengu into a private elevator in a building with over 100 floors. But inside, Suitengu slowly put his hand into Shinsen's clothes while examining her body and asking whether it was really good to treat her own daughter this way. However, after stepping out of the elevator, Shinsen instantly transformed from a weak woman into a company president who could overpower employees with her presence. It turned out that she not only controlled a large conglomerate, but secretly relied on a mysterious club to collect high membership fees. Countless people went bankrupt or even borrowed money just to join and catch a glimpse of the evening angel. But this man was short by $5 for the membership fee, so he frantically searched everywhere. At that moment, his child came in and asked his father to buy him a soccer ball, yet the man instead ordered his son to hand over all his pocket money to help fill the deep pit of the membership fees. Seeing that his son was unwilling to hand over the money, the man told him to get out and not to hinder him there while he searched. The son looked at his obsessed father, and in anger, he stole the money meant for the fee to buy a soccer ball. Afterward, the man found the $5 that had fallen to the bottom of the cabinet, thinking that he was finally safe. However, when Suitengu came to check the accounts, he found that no matter how he counted, there was still one banknote missing. Because the money was insufficient to cover the membership fee, Suitengu mercilessly killed the man. By the time the boy realized that stealing the money was wrong, it was already too late. When he hurriedly ran home, the boy's father had already been hanged in the stairwell.
In this country, lives can be bought and sold on a whim. Should you deem it necessary to take my life, I suggest you make a lot of money and come buy it from me.
At noon, everyone in the school was having lunch. Only Kagura sighed gloomily looking at the lunchbox her mother had given her. Her classmates wanted to see what the young lady of the Tenozu family usually ate, but just as the two snatched the lunchbox, they discovered it was empty. At that moment, Kagura also fainted from hunger. When she woke up, she was already in the infirmary. The teacher brought her a rice ball, which Kagura immediately grabbed and devoured ravenously. Upon learning about her forced dieting, the teacher decided to discuss the situation thoroughly with her mother. With the teacher's help, Kagura headed home in high spirits. Yet her stomach was still very hungry. So much so that seeing fruit on a decorative potted plant, she plucked it off without hesitation and ate it. Kagura ate potted plant fruit all the way like this, unintentionally coming to her mother's room. However, she heard strange sounds coming from inside. Worried her mother might be in trouble, Kagura approached the door, only to see the teacher and her mother together intimately. Unable to accept this, Kagura turned and ran out of the house. Her mother calmly got dressed, then pushed open the door to a room filled with banknotes. According to their agreement, the teacher could take as much money as he could carry, but on the condition that he had to leave naked. Large amounts of money can quickly corrode a person's heart. Even a virtuous teacher was no exception. Kagura couldn't accept the sight of the teacher scrambling away clutching money disgracefully, and this was one of the social lessons her mother intended to teach her daughter. Nothing can't be bought with money. After saying this, Suitengu came to take Kagura to piano lessons. However, Kagura was disliked by the piano teacher due to her poor talent. The teacher couldn't bear the clumsy hands slapping randomly on the piano. Helplessly, he ran to the adjacent room, inside which hid countless arms and many worms crawling on the floor. Yet when the teacher saw the cherished angel's hand inside, his wounded heart was instantly soothed. Later in the piano room, Suitengu hypnotized Kagura, saying the time had come, essentially making her willingly go to the club to serve as the evening angel. That day, while investigating the Rubber Man murder case, Saiga received orders from his police superior to investigate a man named Suitengu, who was the chairman of Japan's largest Tennozu group and might secretly be the decision-maker of illegal gatherings. However, while chasing a Diet member, Saiga accidentally entered the club. Afterward, he disguised his identity and successfully infiltrated the inner circle of the secret gathering as a member. What shocked Saiga even more was that the transportation for members turned out to be a subway. Subsequently, Saiga was taken to a massive underground palace. The palace exterior was heavily guarded. Every member had to scan a code to enter. Moreover, the interior was fully equipped with rooms designed to please various wealthy individuals.
Ginza calls me perverse. I recognize them all too, even with the masks.
Then Saiga searched around and discovered Suitengu downstairs. Saiga followed Suitengu closely but got lost on the maze-like paths, eventually stumbling into one of the halls, only to find Suitengu brainwashing everyone from above. At that moment, a member stepped onto the stage. Selected to receive the angel's blessing, he unhesitatingly removed his outer clothing. Suitengu declared that as long as acknowledged by the angel, the wealthy man could attain endless joy, causing him to swallow nervously. Then a woman slowly descended from the chandelier on the ceiling. She was revered as Lady Angel, capable of granting any wish. The wealthy man joyfully spread his arms to welcome her, while Saiga was utterly shocked. Snapping back to reality, he took out his camera to capture evidence. However, the shutter sound drew Suitengu's attention. All members turned their gaze towards Saiga, and guards moved to apprehend him. Seeking immediate escape, Saiga found himself blocked front and back by guards with no way out. Finally, 2 guards dragged him onto the stage. A guard forcefully ripped off Saiga's mask, but Angel slowly approached him. Before Saiga could react, she crouched down and pushed open his mouth with her tongue. Suddenly, vivid memories of his time as a war reporter flooded Saiga's mind. Guards pulled him away from the angel, yet Saiga began emitting a dark aura, with bulging veins covering half his face. Sensing something amiss, Suitengu ordered the guards to cut 2 deep gashes into Saiga's body. Blood instantly stained the angel's face, causing her to collapse from the shock. Even in his dying moments, Saiga chose to protect his camera. Enraged by Saiga's disruption of the ritual, the wealthy men rushed forward to vent their anger despite Saiga's critical condition. At that moment, Saiga opened his red eyes, blood pumped quicker through his veins, and the knife wounds healed instantly. Just as a wealthy man prepared to stab him, Saiga grabbed his camera and took a shot. Seeing that Saiga had also gained divine powers, Suitengu immediately ordered his men to capture Saiga and seize the camera. Under heavy machine gun fire from numerous enemies, Saiga chose to use the camera to detonate the chandelier on the ceiling, planning to escape amid the chaos. But realizing the falling chandelier would hit Angel, Saiga fled the battlefield with her. However, the first thing Angel did upon waking was push Saiga away. Looking at herself covered in blood, she collapsed to the ground. While she was utterly bewildered, Suitengu suddenly appeared and revealed the truth to Kagura. When she learned that the memories of kissing a greasy middle-aged man in her dreams were real, she instantly felt filthy and gave up all hope of living. To save her, Saiga jumped down after her. Unexpectedly, there was a pool of water below, which connected to an external drainage river. Saiga and Kagura were swept away by the current. Later, Saiga struggled to pull Kagura onto a floating platform. Kagura finally realized she desired freedom and begged Saiga to help her escape her mother's control. Just then, searchlights illuminated the water's surface, followed by a large group of men chasing them on speedboats. Before being targeted, Saiga grabbed Kagura and jumped into the water. However, he was still shot and wounded. Loosening his grip from the pain, Saiga pushed Kagura to the surface while he himself sank to the bottom. Kagura was captured by her mother's men. The next day, Saiga survived thanks to his awakened superpowers, but he remained troubled by the truth Suitengu had revealed. To investigate the changes in his body, he went to retrieve another camera as agreed upon in the room at Ginza. However, Ginza threatened Saiga with a gun and handcuffed him to the bed. Originally intending to have a good time together, Ginza ended up watching as Saiga, weakened by excessive blood loss, could no longer hold on and collapsed unconscious beside the bed. Meanwhile, Rubber Man received a call from Suitengu ordering him to kill Saiga. He then stood on the diving board atop a building and put on his hood. After fully completing his transformation, he gripped the opposite end of the diving board and used its elasticity to launch himself into the sky in search of Saiga. Since Saiga's disruption at the club, Kagura had been confined at home after being captured. Concerned about Kagura's plea for help, Saiga quickly located her school. Thanks to his reputation as a renowned photographer, he easily learned from classmates that Kagura had been absent from school recently. with teachers visiting her home for lessons. That same day, Saiga disguised himself as a teacher and prepared to rescue her at the Tenozu residence. Possessing strong composure, Saiga showed no sign of intimidation even when Suitengu walked directly toward him. Soon, he reached the imprisoned Kagura without major incident. During Kagura's confinement, she constantly read magazines featuring Saiga, instantly recognizing his true identity upon their meeting. Saiga removed his glasses and took out the camera. Just as Kagura closed her eyes, an explosion echoed through half the Tenozu residence. Hearing the noise, Suitengu immediately turned back, but Saiga had already led Kagura out to the Sky Garden. Though freedom seemed within reach, a wind barrier blocked the gap between buildings. Saiga removed Kagura's tie and tossed it to test the wind direction, unexpectedly finding it favorable for takeoff. He opened his case, retrieved a paraglider, and waited for Kagura to prepare before smoothly launching using the wind barrier. However, their flight was too conspicuous. Moments after they landed on a distant rooftop, the Rubberman hunting Saiga spotted them and crashed down behind them. Rubberman demanded to take Angel away immediately, while Kagura leaned against Saiga, claiming she didn't know him. But Rubberman insisted he too had received Angel's blessing at the club, unlocking his superpowers. Saiga instantly raised his camera toward Rubberman. After dodging the explosion, Rubberman found Saiga and Kagura had vanished. They had actually hidden inside a partition layer amid the blast. Though Kagura couldn't comprehend everything, Saiga had no time to explain. He told Kagura to go ahead and meet him beneath a billboard later, while he stayed behind to confront Rubberman. Dark energy then surged from his body as he aimed the camera at the only entrance. Spotting Rubberman's figure, he pressed the shutter immediately. But Rubberman used his elastic arms to hurl Saiga away instantly. Saiga turned, grabbed an iron rod for a feint, swept Rubberman off his feet with a leg swipe, and plunged the rod into his heart. Yet Rubberman's powers corroded the iron rod, and Saiga's fist became stuck. Attempting to pull free only resulted in a worse fall. Rubberman danced elegantly, certain of victory, until Saiga threw a bottle, photographed it, and successfully blasted out thick smoke. The flames activated the sprinkler system, simultaneously dousing Saiga's agitation. He allowed Rubberman to grip his neck, not expecting to crash through a mirror in the process, with glass shards piercing his side. Rubberman taunted Saiga, saying even superhumans die if their heads are removed. As he prepared to twist Saiga's neck, Saiga endured the pain, pulled out a mirror shard, and tossed it upward, using the reflection to clearly see Rubberman's head through his camera. Back at the residence, Suitengu informed Shinsen that her daughter had been taken away. Shinsen shot him as punishment and ordered him to continue pursuing Kagura. Elsewhere, Kagura had reached the billboard. She anxiously scanned her surroundings and soon saw Saiga emerging from the mist, dragging his injured body. Kagura rushed over excitedly and hugged him, overjoyed both at his safe return and her impending freedom. After rescuing Kagura, Saiga prepared to drive her to another city overnight. However, he discovered people conducting searches on the road out of the city. To avoid mainstream transportation, he took the disguised Kagura into the subway station, using the crowd to lower detection risk. Kagura nervously clung to Saiga, but the sheltered rich girl had never ridden the subway before. When a pervert slapped her buttocks, she naively thought someone was scratching an itch for her.
The man in front of us was tickling me with his hand.
Damn it, that was a pervert!
Saiga quickly took Kagura off the train. To evade Suitengu's men during the detour, they hid in an underground bar in Japan's red light district. Seeing the lobby empty, Saiga seized the moment to question Kagura, hoping to understand the source of his own superpowers. This unexpectedly triggered Kagura's nauseating memories of being forced to kiss the greasy man. Seeing Kagura cover her face in sorrow, Saiga dared not probe further. Meanwhile, Suitengu's subordinate Tsujido was frustrated at finding no trace of the young mistress. Just then, his nose countless times more sensitive than an ordinary person's, followed the scent and located the pervert who had harassed Kagura. Tsujido dragged the man into an alley for interrogation. After successfully obtaining Kagura's whereabouts, he stomped hard on the man's crotch as punishment for the assault. After reporting Kagura's location to Suitengu, and to ensure absolute success, Suitengu also summoned Kaoru to help capture Kagura. Kagura and Saiga were now about to face a frenzied pursuit by superhumans. The woman removed her long skirt in front of the man, transforming her entire body into diamond. She extended her diamond claws and effortlessly sliced through wine bottles with a flick. As she reached out to take Kagura, Saiga positioned at the bar had already aimed at her. Veins bulging, he activated his superpowers. Kaoru assumed Saiga merely intended to photograph her. But when the shutter clicked, light pierced through her diamond body, causing an explosion behind her. Realizing the threat, Kaoru immediately extended her claws to attack Saiga. Unbeknownst to her, the entire bar staff were Saiga's close friends. Her aggression enraged the whole bar, forcing everyone to hurl bottles at her. Using a table for cover, Saiga charged headfirst and knocked the diamond woman aside. Recognizing Saiga's predicament, his friends urged him to flee while they covered his retreat. However, Sui Tengu's armed subordinates fired indiscriminately at the disco ball, intimidating the entire crowd. Meanwhile, Saiga had already escaped with Kagura on a motorcycle at full speed. Sutengu's men soon gave chase in vehicles. Kaoru borrowed a gun inside a car, presumably to shoot Saiga, but instead lowered the window and sprayed bullets at the tail of allied vehicles, blocking all pursuers in the adjacent lane. Evidently, she intended to eliminate Saiga alone. Within moments, Kaoru's car accelerated alongside Kagura's motorcycle. Saiga instructed Kagura to grip the handlebars. The instant Kaoru overtook them, he used his powers to photograph and blast her car door off, sending her vehicle careening off the road. Yet Kaoru deliberately crashed in front of the motorcycle, thrusting her razor-sharp claws through the front shield into Saiga's abdomen. Saiga convulsed in agony and lost control, causing the motorcycle to flip and collide with Kaoru. Kagura and Saiga tumbled onto the road. Kaoru shoved the motorcycle aside and stood up. Saiga attempted to photograph her diamond body, but the explosion passed harmlessly through her. The next moment, Kaoru closed in, gouging Saiga's flesh at point-blank range. Just as she prepared to deliver a fatal blow, Kagura clung to her, holding her back. Saiga struggled to rise and resist, but Kaoru flung Kagura aside and continued thrusting through his arm until pain rendered Saiga unconscious. Kaoru then halted a passing truck, commandeered it and took Kagura back to her own home. Soon after, Sutengu's men arrived at the crime scene. Saiga's superpowers had once again kept him alive. He picked up his camera and confronted Sutengu's subordinates. At that moment, Kaoru called Tsujido, attempting to extort Sutengu by demanding diamonds in exchange for Kagura's return. With this act, Kaoru had betrayed the organization. Saiga learned the full story, then commandeered a vehicle and fled the scene. Before leaving, he blew up another organization vehicle to prevent pursuit. Instead of heading directly to Kaoru's home, he went to a used camera store to replace his camera. Once fully recovered, Saiga immediately stormed Kaoru's house and cut the power. Instinctively, Kaoru transformed into her diamond form and seized Kagura. Saiga deliberately revealed himself to Kaoru. Under Kaoru's threat, he discarded his camera and slowly approached Kagura. Just as Kaoru believed she had won, Saiga activated a hidden camera flash within his clothes, blinding her. Seizing the moment, he rescued Kagura. He then sprayed Kaoru with red paint, coating her entire body. This rendered her diamond form vulnerable, as the explosion from the camera could no longer penetrate it. Saiga successfully defeated the Diamond Woman and took Kagura away.